All right, here we go. We are recording. Okay. And I'm streaming live on Facebook, so it is all set. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so welcome everybody. Just really quick before we start, if you want to ask questions and you're in the Zoom, there's a chat box. Ask questions, Mary and I will answer them. There's also a Q&A box. Not really sure about the difference, but if you ask a question there, we will find that too and answer for you. And if you're watching on Facebook, leave a message in the comments. If we don't answer live, we can go back in and answer with our fingers after we're done. So chat, Q&A, comment. All right. Okay, so we're going to start. So I'm Tamara Manley. I'm a platinum leader with Young Living Essential Oils and a healthy lifestyle blogger at olardy.com. I educate the average wife to be boldly authentic in their identity while showing up in their health, business, and family. And I want to really thank you guys for joining us today because you are showing up for your health and potentially your family and possibly your business by spending time with me and Mary Slight today. So I'm super excited that Mary wanted to join me today and help put this webinar together. So I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited you're here too. And I have been a massage therapist for over 25 years. So it's one of the things I love to do to help people and alleviate stress. And I'm not able to do that right now with social distancing. So I wanted to find other ways that I can offer you to alleviate stress. There's lots of things we're going to talk about today. We try to pull together all the resources. Some of them I use, some of them I'm learning because I'm using this as an opportunity to grow myself too. And in the, we'll talk about some of the other experts, but also in the resources we'll get later, we're going to point you to other resources because I'm certainly not the expert in everything, but I love to curate information and connect and pass it on. So I'm going to turn it over to Tamara and I'll be back.
All right. So yeah, so as Mary said, this is going to be like a curated list, if you will, of suggestions about how you can handle your stress naturally. We could do an hour-long webinar on each and every one of these tips, and we'd be here for 13 hours. So we're not going to do that today. So we're going to get you started. For everyone who registered for the webinar, if you're watching live on Facebook, we can get you a PDF of these resources. And if you have other tips or suggestions, leave them in the comments, the chat, the Q&A, and we can mix all those together and contribute. So one of the positive things I'm seeing out of this whole crazy experience is the community of people joining together, really wanting to help each other. And that's really, really awesome. And so Mary and I are not experts by any means in all the things that we're going to talk about, but we're going to be sharing tips with you. So let's just go ahead and get started. One of my favorite tips for dealing with, well, really everything with stress, with occasional anxiety, with immune support, keeping our body healthy, is sleep. And it can kind of be a double-edged sword here because many times when we're experiencing high levels of stress, it can become very hard to sleep. So again, lots of resources to help you with sleep, but a few of the things that I like to do or that I have recommended people that I've worked with are things such as having a bedtime routine. Even right now, for those of you who are not working, staying at home, your kids are at home, routines have kind of gone out the window. Really trying to do a bedtime routine, even if it's shifted. Like I find my family, we're going to bed later than we normally would on school nights. So what? But we're still trying to have some sort of bedtime routine, even if that routine happens at midnight instead of 9 p.m. So having a bedtime routine, taking a bath before bed. This could be for you as an adult or for your children. Practicing deep breathing, and Mary's going to talk a bit more about breathing. Practicing deep breathing while you lay in bed and settle yourself down. Turning off screens before bed. So some people say an hour before bed, 4 hours before bed. I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. I have a hard time with this because everything I do is on my screen. I read on my screen, I watch shows on my screen, right? Not just the news and all of that, but you can adjust the settings on your phone so it makes it more of a yellow light. You can get blue blocker glasses on Amazon that will help you deal with the blue light, but limiting your screens, turning off your screens in a way that makes sense for you. Using essential oils. As you know, Mary and I love our Young Living essential oils. You can diffuse essential oils like lavender, orange, big trees like spruce and cypress and balsam fir can help ground you. Adding oils to your bath, all kinds of things to really help you sleep. One other thing I like for sleep is magnesium, is taking a magnesium supplement. I particularly like Natural Calm. It's a powder. Just follow the directions. You can order it on Amazon if you're not buying it locally, but it really helps settle you down. So first tip is get sleep, because if you are sleeping well, you will be able to handle your stress. You will also have a healthier immune system, which is really key. So Mary's going to talk about a second tip.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about meditation. And I know sometimes that word can scare people, or you can turn off your ears and say that's for someone else. But I would encourage you to at least just consider it. And a lot of times, the biggest thing I hear is, well, I can't stop thinking, or I can't stop my thoughts. And you're not supposed to. Our brains are beautiful and they're meant to think, and that's okay. But let's not dwell on them. And I had a tip years ago from someone who I was doing meditation with, and think of each thought as clouds. You know, when you're looking in the sky, you're not focused on every cloud, but you see them and you just let them pass by. So that's always been helpful for me. You have a thought come in, there it is, bless and release, or thank you, and pass it on. But don't keep thinking about it. So if you just let them pass through, it's like trying not to eat the last potato chip or whatever, you know. It's like the more you think about it, or you can't have it, don't think, you're going to want to think. So just let it pass. And meditation doesn't have to be sitting and singing Om, or although it may, maybe that's your thing, which is great. But if it's not, walking can be a meditation. And if you do want something, if you know, often a doer, we're human beings, but I can be a human doing. And so walking can give you something to do. Or if you have affirmations, or just say a phrase, it can be a mantra that can scare people too. A mantra can just be a phrase you say over and over. So I am at peace, I am happy, or I am healthy, or my family is healthy, whatever it is, can be something to keep your mind focused. And maybe you time it with your breath. There's a great one I love that is just, as you breathe in, you can think of what you want to take in, like breathe in peace, and think of that word as you're breathing in, and you can breathe in to a count of 4. If that's too much, keep it simple, but you can breathe in to a count of 4 and breathe out stress, or breathe out anxiety, or breathe out fear to a count of 6 or 8. Pause and breathe in. So breathing in what you want, breathing out what you don't. That can be a meditation. So it can be that simple. One of my favorite things is something called meta meditation, which is loving kindness meditation. You can find it all over the internet. One of the things I'm going to include in my resources is something that talks about teaching it to kids. And what I love about it is it really simplifies it, but I found it a good explanation for me too. And the phrases can be slightly different if you read different things, but it's basically, may I be happy, may I be at peace, may I be free from suffering, or you can say, may I be happy, may I be well, may I be at peace. You get the idea, but just a 3-part. You can think of it for yourself and say it, repeat it as many times as you like. Then say it for someone that you love. You know, for me, it could be, may Anna, who is my daughter, may Anna be happy, maybe she be at peace. And you can repeat that. Then you can do it for someone that you don't know very well, but you can also then do it for somebody, they say either an enemy, or somebody you have trouble with, or somebody you have anger with, and just help release that. And you'd be surprised how it might even shift that relationship. So I love that. You can even expand it to my neighborhood, my community, my world. I just love that meditation. I feel like it gives me so much benefit, and I do feel like it shifts the things around me. So it's just a nice one. If you just want to start with breathing and walking, that's great. But meditation, there's so many studies on how it helps the mind, it helps release stress, it helps calm the nervous system. There's so many benefits. So just do it in whatever way works for you. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Tamara.
All right. I also just noticed we have like similar sweaters on, our little turtleneck sweaters. uh, that's super helpful. I'm one who get scared by the word meditation, I think, as you know. But I loved all those tips, Mary. Thank you. So another thing, a tips, we've talked about sleep, we've talked about meditation, is journaling, practicing gratitude, a gratitude journal. There's so many ways to look at that. Some of you may already be avid journalers already. I've never loved journaling. I always felt like I had, like when I would, like a diary, like, dear diary, I ate breakfast, then I went to school. Like I could never really journal. That's just not me. So if you're already journaling, keep it up. It's such a great way to just put your thoughts and all of your energy on paper. Um, but I like doing a particular type of journaling. And during this time when we're spending more time at home, I've involved my daughter Tyler with it as well, is two parts. One is writing down, won't it be great when, ... and then writing 5 things. Okay. Or something even better. So we just take a piece of paper in our journal. Won't it be great when, 5 things, or something even better. And those 5 things, it could be anything from, won't it be great when school gets back to session? Won't it be great when this situation is over? Or it could be future, like, won't it be great when, we travel to Europe all summer long, or won't it be great when I'm holding my grandbaby in 20 years, or I don't know how many years that would make sense. It could be whatever you want it to be, but it's practicing attraction, law of attraction, abundance thinking, really just putting your energy out there for all of these things that it will be great when. And it's really powerful how it shifts your mindset a bit. And I have found, as I've been getting, I'm a pretty even keel person. I don't get anxious or stressed very easily ever, but this past week has been different. And so I have found this practice helpful in a whole nother level for me. And another part of that is the gratitude part. And everyone who practices gratitude, journaling, or thinking does it differently. If you haven't done it yet at all, I really would encourage you to, you could Google practicing gratitude journaling. We're going to send you some links in the PDF that we're sending. One of the things that Tyler and I have been doing is, after we do our Won't It Be Great Whens, we do 3 things that we're grateful for. Whatever, right? We write them down. And then she and I have a conversation picking one of those things. What would it be like if we didn't have that thing, right? So something like, I have a roof over my head, especially during this time, a comfortable house that I can stay in that has heat and electricity and Wi-Fi and all of these things that are making it more bearable. Well, then she and I really go down a path of what it would be like right now if we didn't have those things. Sometimes I will switch it up as well, and we'll just do one gratitude, and then we'll write 10 to 20 things of what, I'm so grateful for my fuzzy socks. 10 to 20 things of what it would be like if I didn't have those fuzzy socks. So it's pretty powerful. I have felt, as I've been really focused on that this past week, my stress level just decreases as I put it all into the journal. And while Tyler as a teenager, may be rolling her eyes that I'm making her do this, I'm assuming that it's also helping with her stress level. And this will be an interesting memento to have later when this is all said and done. But there's a variety of gratitude prompts we're going to send you. If you like more organized gratitude journals, they're available on Amazon. So we're going to send you lots and lots of resources about that. And so Mary is going to go with the next tip.
And just to tag on, one thing that I learned is that the brain cannot hold 2 opposing thoughts. So if you focus on gratitude, it can't, I know we think we can multitask, but we don't. We go from one thing to the other. We're really just alternating. You can't hold 2 opposing thoughts. So if you're thinking of gratitude, you can't be thinking of fear. So even if it's alternating, at least you're giving your brain a little break. So I love that gratitude piece. The next one I think we all know, so I'll do it quickly, but get outside, get some fresh air, connect with nature. I'll add a little study that's in there in Science News in April of last year, and showed just 20 minutes of contact with nature lowers our stress hormone levels. And stress, we use that word all the time, stress, but I think we know how it affects our immune system. But the study shows stress, low levels of stress, even over time, increases the inflammation physically in our bodies. So it's not just what happens to our minds. Our bodies are creating inflammation, and inflammation is disease. So we want to stay as healthy as we can in these times. So get out, connect with nature. The vitamin D is so good with you. There's so much research. Vitamin D lowers inflammation. Vitamin D decreases anxiety, decreases depression. There's all kinds of studies on all the things vitamin D can do. And if you live in the north, what my doctor has told me, if you're in the winter and in the north, everybody needs to supplement their vitamin D. I'm not offering advice. Ask your doctor. I am not a doctor. That is just what I've heard. I know vitamin D is very important. And something fun that I've seen in on Facebook, at least in our community, is people have been posting for people with kids every day of the week is something different. It started with shamrocks on St. Patrick's Day, but post things in your window and people will say what neighborhood they live in, and people have been taking their kids on walks and doing I Spy. So just a fun little thing. If it's not in your community or neighborhood, go ahead and start that, because it also offers connection, which is something we're going to talk about.
All right, so we have talked about sleep, meditation, journaling, practicing gratitude, being outside, fresh air. I did want to say something else about the gratitude is sometimes I drive my husband nuts with this, even before this whole situation, is if we were, our plane was delayed somewhere and we were frustrated, you get irritated, and I would just say, well, isn't it amazing? Aren't we so grateful that we're able to take this plane flight? Or he'd be like, oh, just stop it. But just even that, what Mary said, you can't hold those two opposing thoughts. Just shifting that, even just verbally, it instantly shifts the way your body is reacting. I think it's really powerful. And getting outside, vitamin D, for sure. And hopefully the sun will come out in Chicago at some point in time. All right, so the next one is the news, or no news. Gary News is good news, right? What was that show? The Great Space Ghost? I don't know. Anyway, we're all checking the news in some way, shape, or form with what's going on right now. And I am a believer that the more educated you are, you can be empowered to make choices. I'm not, for my family, a believer in sticking my head in the sand and not knowing what's going on in the world around me. However, it is so easy all the time, particularly right now, even more so right now, to get sucked in to the news, to the fear of it all. And I read an interesting quote today. I think it was Brendan Bouchard put it on Instagram. It was, use the news to be informed, but if you find the news is fueling your fear and you're spiraling down into just chaos and anxiety, stop, step back. Let the news inform you and then step back. Be critical as well of what you read, listen to, and watch. There is so much unbelievable misinformation that is being spread, videos and audios and articles that are, my friend's friend works the doctor at the such and such. And some of it could be true, some of it's not, but read everything or listen to everything with a critical eye. I'm not an expert. I have no idea what's going on myself, but just be really critical about what you are reading and what you're believing. Choose your news sources wisely. Now, we are all choosing based on our different, political beliefs or attitudes that we share about the news. And I'm not here to tell you what or what not to do, but a lot of the things that you might be seeing in some mainstream media, it can be a little slanted or fear-based, etc. My family is choosing to follow CDC, the White House YouTube channel, the BBC News. I find a lot of European news sources are pretty more cut and dry. Again, not saying all the news stuff is bad, but just I find when if I had CNN on in the background or Fox News, MSNBC, whatever it is, it just starts to get me, start to feel panicky. And so I like to come in, educate myself, and back the heck out. Because that is, and when we have high stress levels, it can make us feel uncomfortable, can disrupt our sleep, all of that. But high stress levels can just plummet our immune systems. And our immune systems is what we are wanting to keep as strong as possible all the time, not just right now, but all the time. And so it's really, really important to be mindful of what you're letting into your head and your ears and your body as we check the news, but also be informed and educated. And Mary's going to go next.
So breathing may sound really, well, of course we breathe, but do we? Sometimes I catch myself holding my breath. When we're in fear, we hold our breath. And are we shallowly breathing? Because that makes a huge difference on our immune system. And it can be as simple as placing your hand below your rib cage on your diaphragm and making sure that's moving. If it's all just moving up here, we're not doing that diaphragmatic or deep breath. And don't underestimate the power of it, because so many things we can do to optimize health. We talked about sleep and whether it's nutrition and everything else, but there's nothing as immediate as the breath. One deep breath can immediately change your stress levels. It's so powerful. It's the first thing we do when we're born. It's the last thing we do when we die. So we're going to share a video that I really like. It's a TED Talk on breathing, not right now, but it'll be in your resources. And he talks about the 3 types of breath. And there's one that we can be doing all the time that's healthy. There's one that can help us sleep. And there's one that can help us get revved up and takes you through that. Another breathing I really like, and again, pranayama breathing. Don't get scared off by the sound of it. If it's like, I don't do yoga, whatever it is, but it sounds really silly. And there's so many different variations of it. I'm telling you, I used to think like, that's crazy. And I did it in a few classes and I was like, the change was amazing. And one of the basics is, and we'll include some in your resources, but if you take your thumb and your 4th finger and you put it on your nose and you can come down and get to that part, and I'll just talk about it because otherwise I'll sound like this, and put it on the largest where it flares out, and open one side. Start on your right, breathe in, and you can breathe into a count of 4. Switch, open the other side, and exhale out the left side for a count of 6 or 8. And then breathe in that same side, and then you'll put your thumb over that side, open your right side, and exhale out that side. So you're breathing in one, exhaling out the other, then inhale in that same side, exhale out the other. So that's, you'll see, I'll give you more details in the resources, but that at least gives you a little explanation or visual. It helps calm, provide clarity, balance both sides of the brain. We can really get into our left brain, which is our doing and our fear and everything else, instead of getting into that right brain, that creativity and that calming side. So breath is so important, and you'll get some resources, but just really don't underestimate, and maybe stick a Post-it note for a couple days in random places. And when you walk by that just says breathe, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I just need to take a deep breath. I'm telling you, little things can make a big difference.
I love that idea. Post-it note, or like a reminder on your phone every hour or something. That's a great idea. Okay, so breathing. And so now this is kind of a connection, social media, community. And I say social media because unless you have a very large family that you're hunkering down with, we're not really connected with our community. I mean, some people, and every state is doing different things, but as of today's Saturday, the 21st of March, Illinois has put on a shelter in place type situation, which really my family has been practicing for a week. So we feel like nothing has changed in the past week. But we're not connecting like we normally would, getting together at exercise classes or at friend's house or going for a Friday night happy hour with friends, etc. So using this time to really be mindful of connecting with others. And one of the things that I am so grateful for during this time is internet and social media. And I say social media is a broad thing, but even apps such as Zoom, like we're using now, FaceTime, Marco Polo, even just Messenger and texting, right? I mean, I can't imagine if we didn't have these things, how isolated we would feel. So using social media, of course, if you're wanting to limit your news time, like we talked about earlier, you got to be careful of where you're going in social media. And everybody's feeds, I find on Facebook, for example, or Instagram, are different based on the people that we're friends with and follow. So if yours seems like a happy, safe place to be, then, have at it. If not, maybe go into certain groups on FaceTime. We have an Oily Living Lifestyle group that is a wonderful community, supportive community. Yes, it's essential oil usage, but all things healthy. And it's so uplifting, and I love popping in there. And there are several other groups that I'm part of that I actually make a point to go in and chat with people. So heading to groups that you enjoy, groups where you can experience positivity and support. Connecting. I have seen so many people. This has been one of the really fun and heartwarming aspects of this, I find, is seeing people have like Zoom happy hours. Like, hey guys, let's get together tonight at 8. Here's the Zoom link, da, 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 and talk about whatever, or have educational chats, or whatever you want it to be, or FaceTiming with your friends, or Marco Poloing. Marco Poloing's like a video message app. I have some friends that I Marco Polo with multiple times a day, and we're laughing. It's just super fun. Snapchat, if you use, I'm sure TikTok, I don't even know. I have a TikTok account, but I've not done anything with it. So we're going to share a bunch of suggestions for you there. I'm also finding it for the tweens well, I can only speak for the teen because I have a teenager, but I'm finding this a little bit ironic, I guess, is that I feel like I have always been fighting her on how much time she spends on the screen or connecting, or, get off, put your phone down. And we still are, believe me. She's cleaning her room right now and there's no phone because she needs to clean her room. But I am so grateful as well, especially for tweens and teens, the connection to their peers is the most important, one of the most important connections they have. And having to stay home from school, stay home from hanging out with their friends, it can be really damaging to them. And I am so thankful that my daughter is able to utilize Marco Polo, Snapchat, FaceTime, whatever, as well as Xbox. Last night, she was up till like 11:30 playing Xbox with two friends who live like 45 minutes away. So just the three of them were playing, and they were laughing. I mean, I literally thought these three girls were all together in my basement, laughing and being silly and having a grand old time. And I was just really thankful that that technology exists, that we can all still maintain these connections. And fun, using this time to find fun things. Watch your favorite, shows you haven't watched yet on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu, or all the things that we have access to. This morning, I happened upon the Tonight Show on YouTube. Jimmy Fallon is doing his Tonight Show from home. So it's Tonight Show at home. It's like 15, 20 minutes. It's him, his daughters make the sign that's like the Tonight Show, which he's got little girls, they're climbing all over him while he's interviewing Jennifer Gardner or whatever it is. I was laughing so hard over my cup of coffee. So utilizing these opportunities for connection, social media, the internet, for being funny. And oh yeah, Mary wrote Ellen DeGeneres, the Ellen Show on Instagram. She is cracking me up. If you haven't watched her whole thing about how she was putting together this 4,000 piece puzzle, it was like literally so funny. But loud here, even we're just laughing, right? Just talking about it. This is positive and can help us decompress from all the things that are going on. All right.
Yes, connection is important. And something I studied through massage, and I teach infant massage, is we are hardwired for connection. So we have to have that. So find that connection. It's hard when we can't do it physically. I've told people I have to sit on my hands because I'm always love to touch people. But even one of the things I want to talk about is we need to get out and exercise and move. Yeah, we don't want to be close, but if you're outside and you go for a walk and you keep your distance, or I've even seen people, people say the guys in the neighborhood get together and have a beer, but they stand 10 feet apart outside. That's great. You get your connection, but the bear may not be exercising and moving, but maybe if they're squatting when they're doing it, but just, maybe you gave yourself a day or a week on the couch, but enough. Like, get up, get moving. What do you want to do? And there's so many options. I am not somebody, I always said I do not want a gym in my basement. I do not want an exercise bike because it'll be a coat hanger. I won't do it by myself. I love group classes. I'm like a pack animal. I'm an introvert and a pack animal, but anyway, that's besides it. But I can't do that right now. So I do have my mat out in my basement. There's so many offerings online. Some are paid, some are free. We're going to put some in the resources that we love. If you've got one, do you love, add them too. I know, and you get a huge variety. This morning, I was on with Heather's gym, and she will get you motivated and connected, and said, my love language is kick your ass. And so that can be one too. And then I saw Jenny Cornejo, who's offering every morning at 10 a.m. on Instagram. She's doing some gentle movement and meditation, and that's free. There's a number of them, like Heather's, whoever, they're offering free and some paid options, but find one that fits for you. They're for all types, and alternate. Not, some days you need the quiet, or maybe before you go to bed, you'll do some of the meditations, but whatever you do, get up and move. I'm sure I don't even have to go into all the studies on how it reduces your stress and gets your endorphins going. lowers depression, but combine that connection with your exercise and movement. I think that's all I had to say. I want to keep this short, so I'll turn it over.
Yes, I am signed up for a Heather. My daughter and I are signed up for a Heather's gym class this afternoon. I think it's teen yoga and Pilates. I hurt my back on Monday, so this is my first day back, and we'll see how that goes. We have a gym in our basement, and my husband is very good at using it. This morning, I heard all this noise, but I need either the outside or the people. I need the people, and so I'm so thankful for all of these virtual options. I can't remember the last time I went in the gym in the basement, but that's his thing. All right, so exercise. Now, learning. This is a great opportunity to take the time that we're spending home to learn something. Brendon Burchard, it's the second time I'm referencing him. Apparently, I like him on Instagram too. If you want to be inspired, follow Brendon Burchard. He wrote something about using this time either to distract ourselves and stay stagnant or grow and become better. And I think there is nothing wrong with a little stagnant time, right? We lay on the couch, maybe we watch the kind of a mind-numbing type TV show, etc. But what a great opportunity to use this time to learn something or to read the books that are sitting on your nightstand that you've not had the time to do, that you haven't made the time to do. Now we're being forced to make the time to do these things. What is that for you? You can use this time to choose focus and discipline and take actions to protect and build your future. There are so many amazing options out there. We're going to include lots of links in our PDF. And remember, if you have things to add for any of this, if you're watching the Zoom, put it in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, comment on the comments, let us know. But do language-based things like Duolingo and those types of apps. You could come out of this like fluent in Spanish or something. Masterclass. I purchased Masterclass Christmas time, and I've taken like 2 classes in that time. There's all these experts on all types of things. Well, now I have the time. So I started this one on space exploration. It's with this astronaut, and I'm going to forget his name, but he's a very like famous astronaut. I'm not even really like super interested in space, but I've learned all about how the rockets work to get the ship up into the space, and the gimbal effect. Like it's like holding a broom on your hand. I don't know. It's super fascinating. I'm probably going to remember like 15% of what I'm learning in it, but so what? It's better, than learning nothing. So many opportunities. A lot of museums are letting you or have these options online where you can tour them virtually. National parks are having something like that. And this may not be learning, but it's still experiential stuff. Disney, you can like ride a lot of their rides virtually on video. There are so many things to do that we don't have to be totally disconnected. Last night, my husband was watching YouTube videos on green egg. He's a green egg smoker grill thing. And he was watching all these videos and taking notes about how to improve his barbecuing skills. So I'm excited because it's going to taste good whenever he starts implementing them. But there's also tons of ideas for kids. There's, podcasts and TED Talks and all types of things that you could even watch something as a family for 20 minutes and then have a conversation about it. But what a great opportunity while we're basically being forced to stay at home, to use this to learn something new so we can focus on other things versus focusing on the things that we don't have control of right now. And Mary is going to talk about one of our favorite techniques.
Yeah, but before I do that, I want to add on to what Tamara said. There's so many places now. Somebody just posted this morning, the Kennedy Space Center is putting all this free information on teaching kids certain things. So we went to the Kennedy Space Center as a family. It was amazing. And I am not one that's been like an area of super interest. I mean, I find it fascinating, but so great. So there's so many resources. I'm going to try and include as many of those as we can, but people are posting about them all the time. And Jenny, in her meditation I mentioned this morning, one of the things that she had said that I loved, and you can include this whether it's part of a meditation or just thinking about it at this time, what do I want to learn? What do I want to learn? What do I want to do? What do I want to become? Like, what can you do with this time? And maybe really sit and ponder that, whether you're walking or, there's so many times we say, oh, when I have time, I'm gonna, well, what? Because now we've got time, right? I know for me, like that's a challenge to myself. But one of the things I'm so grateful for is essential oils. And one of the ways that essential oils work so profoundly is it goes to that part of the brain. Our sense of smell is connected to our limbic system. Our limbic system is that fight or flight, that emotion that controls our breathing, that area that's so primitive. It's that pre-verbal part of our brain. And essential oils going to that to offer calm, to de-stress is a total gift. And for me, I really am grateful that I have these. And some of the easiest ways to use them is just to smell them, even if you think they're pretty smell. I had somebody call me and said, somebody's telling me they do XYZ and they're going to help with that, but I just thought they smelled great. And so I want them. Great. That's enough. But citrus oils, I love orange, tangerine, bergamot, all those citrus oils, and they literally are like sunshine in a bottle. So especially gray days, the sun's coming out a little today. But we just need that. Think of how you feel when you go out in the sunshine, and it just raises your mood, your frequency. You just feel so good. That's the way citrus oils are to me, and that's the way they work in the brain. The same way your body doesn't know the difference. That's the power of the brain. And kids love citrus oils. So if that's something, sometimes there's things I put in the diffuser. My daughter's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "But if I do citrus or orange or whatever." Never, and nobody complains. So that's a great entree into it. Some of the other ones that are really good, peace and calming or stress away is another one I love. And those have some citrus oils in them, and they're uplifting, they're calming, they do just what they say they do. So those are some great ones. Another one, and I'm going to order like 4 bottles when I get off because I can't find a bottle, and I normally have it in my purse. I have it in my bedroom. White Angelica. And the only way I can describe it to me, I call it wearing angels. And I love the smell of it, but it's one of the things it does is energetic protection. If you're an empath, it just really helps with that. If you're like, that sounds crazy, it smells great too. Just smells great. It also will get my son out of night terrors. He's my size in terms of his weight and everything else. There's no stopping him if he wants to run out the door, but I can stick that under his nose and I can at least direct him back to bed. And there's something about it. So at this time, when we're in that crazy time, I want to like bathe in the white Angelica. You can diffuse it. You can use them topically. There's no reason not to what we call dilute them. If you're not familiar with essential oils, any fatty oil, whether it's avocado, grapeseed, coconut oil, that's a fatty oil that can carry the essential oil onto our skin. And the molecules the Young Living oils are so concentrated, we need like a drop, very, very little. Or we can put it on our hands and smell it. A great little trick too is frankincense. Put a drop of just frankincense like right on your thumb, and then put it right on the roof of your mouth. I would do that or I wouldn't be able to talk with my thumb in my mouth, but you put it right on the roof of your mouth. I swear it's instant. Tamara reminded me of that. And I'm like, describe how it feels again. And she's like, it's instant. And so I tried it, and it just gives clarity and calming, and it feels great. There's something that I used to do, and then I took a break, and I was reminded of it. And at this time, I feel like it's so important. There's something called the Happy Protocol that Gary Young had come up with. And I love it in the morning. It can help amplify your intentions. It's just a great way to start the day kind of from a place of strength. You can do it before or after the journaling that Tamara was talking about. That's so powerful too. And they're just 4 really elevating oils and just starting your day with empowerment. So the first one is Valor, which is the first oil I ever experienced from Young Living and made me say, like, where do I get these? And you can put, what I love too, you put a drop on your hands and put it, and just really take I was trying to see the Happy Portal, and just take a deep, just inhale it and smell that. And you can put it on, but also put a drop on your wrist. And when you just hold them together and think of balancing, whether it does it physically or in your mind, you can do that. It'll help you create that balance. So that's a great one to start with. The second one is Harmony. And this one you can, again, I like to take a drop on all of them. Really inhale them all, and I'm moving really quickly just so you get the idea, but put it on your solar plexus, which is under your rib cage and above your belly button. And you could even think about, who do I want to have harmony with today? I know if you're like me and you're home with your whole family, that's top of my list. Let's have a little harmony. So Joy, a lot of people wear this like perfume. It's a little flowery for me at times, but I like it as part of this protocol. And if I do diffuse it, I'll add citrus oils because it cuts the sweetness. But joy, again, boy, I'm getting like, woo, so fast. And then put it on your heart. Mm, there we go. But put it right on your heart, and you can, it really opens the heart. It has rose, which is a really high frequency and can raise. We have harmonic resonance. That's what we do. We're like, because of that, hardwired for connection. We're hardwired to the mother. We resonate. Babies resonate to mothers. We resonate to each other. So these high frequencies, raising our frequency is so awesome and so important. It's for good health. And then the last one, and I could not find my white angelica right now. I'm going to substitute Sacred Mountain, which is another favorite of mine. And you can smell that and then just kind of brush it all over you. And even if you think of like putting on your armor for the day, but like not letting that negativity come in and radiating positivity is just another great little kind of mantra or thing to do. And maybe during this time, what do I want to do? What do I want to become? What do I want to create? You know, think of that at the beginning of your day. Maybe that can be your mantra for your meditation. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Tamara.
I love that. I love the happy protocol. I'm going to set those oils out in my kitchen. I have it with a little picture so we can just make it easier for everybody to do it. Yes, when you're home with your family all the time, harmony is definitely needed. All right, and the last one is making up some sort of a schedule. And this can mean different things to different people. For some people, having a really tight schedule is stressful. So if that's you, then you don't want to do that. For some people, having no schedule is very stressful. So I'm going to talk about having a schedule, but obviously make it work for you. And I'm not talking about the color-coded schedule that was floating around on Facebook that was like the COVID-19 schedule that was from 7 to 8. We have breakfast, 8 to 8:15. We have morning meeting. I mean, if that's for you, fantastic, but it's not for a lot of people. I like a medium schedule. That's what I feel comfortable with. I don't like being too scheduled, but I like kind of knowing what's going on. So last night we were talking a bit about what today was going to bring. Who knows? We're still at home, right? I just knew I had the webinar at 1. That was pretty much the extent of my schedule. But writing out to-dos, things you want to accomplish for the day, depending on what your e-learning is like. If you have it for your children, some is more organized than others. You know, we're going to have school from 9 to 11 or whatever that makes sense to you, or we're going to spend, you know, this time to clean or this time to what have you. But it's nice to not have a schedule and not have things to do, places to be. But I think also just having the complete uncertainty and unknown of what day-to-day brings can be very overwhelming and stressful for many. So figuring out a schedule that works for you and your personality, not a schedule that's going to stress you out even more. I know with Tyler's school, with their e-learning, they are doing Zoom classes and they have like 9 to 9:45 is such and such, and 9:50 to whatever is math. And even if they don't keep right on it, it's just been helpful for her to have feel like she has control over things that she has no control, all these other things that we have no control over. So whether it's a simple to-do list or a flex schedule or a more organized schedule for you and your family, do what works for you. But I think bringing some semblance of normalcy into our household can just be very helpful for this just free-for-all and unknown. And really, everything about this, it's a lot of the unknown, the uncertainty, the not knowing what's going on with the virus, for example, but also with jobs, with finances, with school, with when's life going to come back to normal? Is it going to come back? Yes, it is going to come back to normal. I do not subscribe to the world is ending type thing. If that's you, awesome. We're probably not going to have a whole lot in common, but I do not subscribe to that. We are going to get on the other side of this. There are going to be changes that happen. I really think this is going to come out with a lot of changes for the positive. But we are going to get through this. But how long, when, what's it going to look like? Nobody knows. And that can be stressful. So whatever we can do to add some sort of semblance of normalcy to our day and our routine, I think is just going to help us get through this with a healthier mindset. And before we close out, did you have anything to add on that, Mary?
No, I appreciate, well, I should say yes because I'm going to talk. So I appreciate your time and your joining us. And if you have something that we're going to send out resources, and if you have something you want us to include that you feel is a valuable resource, send it to Tamara or myself when you got the email, and we'll include it in those resources because I like to connect people and connect resources, and everybody has different things that work for them. So thank you for your time today. And if you think somebody would find this helpful, let us know and we can forward the recording to them.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We have so much going on virtually. We have all these great virtual options that Mary and I were just talking about, and we're really thankful that you chose to be with us. We are going to put this recording up. It will be on YouTube. I will be posting it on Facebook. You will see it everywhere. So if you've registered for the Zoom, you're going to get the recording and you're going to get the PDF. If you're watching on Facebook, I'll put the recording and somehow put the PDF on there. I'm PDF's not coming till later this afternoon. So as Mary said, if there's other resources that you want us to include, drop them in the comments, drop them in the chat, send us an email, send us a message, however you know us. That is awesome. And we also will send an invite to our Oily Living Lifestyle Facebook group, which is a really great Facebook group to be a part of. And if you are interested in other webinars or educational options that our team is having over the next however long, drop a I want to learn more, let me know, let us know, and we will make sure that you're on those emails and texts lists to get all of that information. So stay well, stay sane, do what you need to do to get through this stress-free, but we are going to get through this. This is not the end of the world. This is a period in time, and we are going to come out on the other end stronger. So super thankful that you are part of our community, and we will hope to see you again soon. All right, bye.